Hello and welcome back to Afterglow, episode 19. Thanks for stopping by and giving this a listen. You know, um, in my opinion at least, most consoles out there have one game that really personifies the console in a way. Like for myself at least, for the original NES, Super Mario Bros. 3 was that game. And for the Sony PlayStation, the game for this episode is that game that personifies the console, being Metal Gear Solid. Uh, Lots of memories in this game. Really, really enjoyed it. Still enjoy it to this day, and I'm thrilled to see that's getting ready to be re-released for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Steam with the Metal Gear Collection Volume 1. I'm really looking forward to that one. But with that being said, let's check out what I thought of the game from my childhood after the music cut. Welcome back. All right, my beginning when it comes to Metal Gear Solid, I remember um, playing the NES game, and it was okay, but I never got real far. But I was a subscriber to the official PlayStation magazine later on, and started seeing previews for this game, and it looked like really good. It looked amazing for a PlayStation game. So later on, there is a video demo that came out for it on the demo disc, and that's a flashback back when the video game magazines included demo discs. Definitely a sign of the times. I loved those things. Anyway, you watch the video, and whoa, like this is kind of like mind blowing to see this game in motion. And I believe a few a few issues later, there's another demo disc that had a demo for the game that was actually like a pretty sizable demo. There's a lot that you could do in it. That was just like the very, very beginning of the game, but there was a good chunk of stuff you could do in it, and I tore that demo apart. Front, back, left, right, sideways. I dug into that demo and just gleaned every little bit of content I could get out of it. So this is one of those games that I had trouble finding whenever it came out. Like it sold like mad in my area. I couldn't find a copy of it for months. So I had ended up purchasing an unofficial strategy guide. I spoiled the game for myself, and these days I probably wouldn't do that, but back then I spoiled the game completely with this player's guide. I really, really wanted to get the full game. But finally, I managed to rent it over Thanksgiving. And I beat it over that Thanksgiving rental. Now, that player's guide helped out quite a bit, but I did sit there and literally beat the game in that one rental. So I had finally experienced the game. But after, I want to say, another 6 months, I finally came across a copy of it, and it was stupid the kind of luck I had. I was actually at a high school choir event, and they had a store across the highway, and I went over there, and I got two games. And surprisingly, Metal Gear Solid was discounted down to $20. It was not a greatest hits version or anything. It was a black label, and the game had been out less than a year. But I snagged it, and I'd also snagged a Time Crisis. I remember those two games I picked up during this time. But got the game home, and this time, like whenever I played it, I didn't have to rush through it, which was awesome. I could just, kick back and relax and actually slowly work my way through the game and explore the map some. And there's not a lot of hidden areas and whatnot in this game. What's there is what's there, but there's some minor stuff, and it was a blast. And go figure, that is my notification on my cell phone. To this day, I use the Metal Gear codec noise for my text message notification. And of course, for this episode, I forgot to turn Do Not Disturb off, or turn Do Not Disturb on. So let's get that turned on, continue the episode, shall we? But this ended up being easily my favorite out of all the Metal Gear Solid games. Usually I don't go too much into the Metal Gear games, like the sequels and whatnot, afterwards, the game that I'm covering. Great English here. But anyway, I got Metal Gear Solid 2 on the Xbox, and I thought it was okay, but not as good as 1. Then I played Metal Gear 4 on PlayStation 3, and I didn't like it. I know a lot of people loved it, but I thought it was a movie more than it was a game. Then I went back and played Metal Gear Solid 3 on the 3DS when it came out and loved it. Thought it was fantastic. And Metal Gear 5, whenever it came out, loved it. Thought it was fantastic as well. We'll probably cover some of the other games in other episodes of Afterglow, but those games I listed off there make up such a wild story. But still, to this day, I think the first one's awesome. I think it really deserves a new remaster. We're getting a remaster of Metal Gear Solid 3, but I really wish that they would have redone Metal Gear Solid 1. There is a GameCube version, but I don't know. I tried it. The gameplay's kind of there, but it feels so campy with the redone voice acting, and I'm not a fan of the campiness. I know there's always a little bit of campiness to Metal Gear, but there has to be some seriousness to it, and I feel that it kind of takes you out of the game a little bit whenever you play the GameCube version, just to hear the over-the-top acting with so much ham. There's so much hamminess in the voice acting in the GameCube version. Now, if some modder out there wanted to pull out the audio from the PlayStation version and replace it with replace the audio in the GameCube version with the PlayStation 1 version, I think that would be awesome if someone would come up with a mod for that. But until then, you can keep playing this game thanks to Good Old Games. To this day, they sell it over there, and I did buy it over there and replayed it on PC. Actually, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. A few years later, there was a PC version released. I want to say a couple years after the PlayStation 1 version. I did end up buying it, and it looked a little tighter, a little cleaner, not a whole lot. It wasn't significantly improved from the PlayStation 1 version. It was improved, but in my opinion, not a whole lot. That being said, this is a game that personifies the PlayStation 1 for me. If you get a PlayStation 1 and one game, that game probably needs to be Metal Gear Solid. An argument could be made if you're a fan of RPGs for Final Fantasy VII, which, honestly, if you're getting let's say 5 PlayStation 1 games, and I feel that Final Fantasy VII would have to be number 2 after Metal Gear Solid. But just the graphics, the gameplay, the story, to me, this is almost the perfect video game for the PlayStation era. But that'll be it for my rambling on Metal Gear Solid. I kind of stuttered a little bit in this one, but I hope you kind of got the idea. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this episode of Afterglow, and we will see you next time for episode 20. Thanks for listening.